Hello DigiFam, it is Prodigious, and I'm here with another deck profile for you. Now this deck profile is for a deck that I have to say I don't really have that strong of a connection to in terms of the series, and I know it was very popular, and now that it's made a triumphant return thanks to BT 19 and 20 from our special booster 2.5, I've actually given it a shot, and I have to admit, I do like where it's going. So it's time to Digifuse with some Cross Wars with the Xheart. Let's get into it. Now again, I'd like to take a moment and remind you that if you haven't already, because a lot of you don't do it, but please do, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that like button, but definitely hit the subscribe. And tickle that little bell so that way you don't miss any of my videos when they go live. It really helps the channel out a lot, and we're on a long road to 1,000 subscribers. Alright. Now, I am no Digimon Xheart expert. I haven't even played the deck back when it first came out. But since I saw these new versions of the evolutions of these guys and how they can pretty much work in tandem like they used to, but also with the newer versions of themselves, I can't help but want to try and give this deck a go. And in my playtesting, this deck has worked very well. As a matter of fact, you can actually start off kind of bricky, but still turn it around in your favor. With that being said, let's get into it. Our first card to look at is going to be our egg. We are looking at the Pikmons from BT19. It has when attacking once per turn by placing one Digimon card with the Xheart trait or Blue Flare trait from your hand under any of your tamers, you draw one. That's going to be the only real weakness of this deck, is because you're not doing your traditional Digivolving. You have to have alternative means of drawing cards so that way you can get the pieces you need to go off. Now, going into our first couple of rookies. I'm running 3 copies of Sparrowmon. It can Digivolve from a Twilight or Xheart trait for a cost of 0, so it can go on top of our Pikmons. Has when attacking, this Digimon may Digivolve into Raptor Sparrowmon from under any of your tamers without paying the cost. On deletion, save. And then it has the inheritable, this Digimon with the Xheart trait gains Collision. Now, going into our next rookie. He wants to be king of all the Digimon, that is Shoutmon. He has, on play, this Digimon may Digivolve into Omni Shoutmon from under your tamers without paying the cost. On deletion, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck and play one tamer card with the Xheart trait among them without paying the cost. Return the rest to the bottom of the deck, and then save. So it can actually save itself. Then it has the inheritable of your turn. This Digimon with the Xheart trait gains Rush. And then our final rookie of the deck, we're running 2 copies of Starsmon. This can Digivolve on top of our Xheart. It has Decoy for Xheart trait. And it also has on deletion. You may play one Shooting Starmon from under any of your tamers without paying the cost. Then place one Starmons and one Pikmons from your trash as that Digimon's bottom Digivolution cards. So apparently you can even get back your egg as well as a Starmon and put it under one of your Digimon. Alright, then we got the inheritable of when attacking once per turn. If this Digimon has the Xheart trait, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2000 DP for the turn. Now going into our level 4s. We have Raptor Sparrowmon at 4. This card is also treated as Sparrowmon for a Digicrossing. It has on play when Digivolving. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add one card with Xheart or Blue Flare trait among them and trash the rest. On deletion, you may place one Digimon card with the Xheart or Blue Flare trait from your hand or trash under any of your tamers. Inheritable, this Digimon with Xheart trait gains Collision. Now, We're running this one copy, because it's all we can run, of the Shoutmon X4 from BT10. This has material save 2. When this Digimon will be deleted, you may place 2 of this Digimon's Digivolution cards from the Digicross requirements under one of your Tamers in any order. It has the on-play effect of draw 2. End of attack. You may place all of this Digimon's Digivolution cards under one of your Tamers in order to unsuspend one of your Tamers. If you do, delete this Digimon. Now, that last part, it's not always going to come up. It could come up in a niche situation of where you just have to unsuspend one of your Tamers, but in my build, so far in my playtesting, I have never needed that effect because I always have multiple Tamers already out and all of them can do the same thing when suspending. Alright. We're also running a single copy of BT19's take on Shoutmon X4. All turns, when this Digimon would leave the battle area, you may place up to 3 Digimon cards with the Xheart trait from this Digimon's Digivolution cards under your Tamer. And it digicrosses using 4 materials of Shoutmon, Ballistamon, Darulamon, and Starmon. And it should be noted, it's the same way for the Shoutmon EX4 from BT10. So basically, what you're looking at here is on the original Shoutmon, you can only save 2 materials unless you use the end of attack thing to pop yourself and save all your materials. While on this one, you can pretty much save all but 1 if you were to actually have all 4 of these guys underneath it. Now, moving on to our other level 4, we have Shooting Starmon. This card is also treated as Starsmon for Digicrossing. All turns once per turn, when any of your Xheart trait Digimon are played, one of your opponent's Digimon gets security attack minus and gets minus 3000 DP until the end of their turn. As well as on deletion, you may place 1 Digimon card with a Xheart trait or Blue Fairy trait from your hand or trash under any of your Tamers. When attacking, if this Digimon has the Xheart trait, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2000 DP for the turn. Now going into level 5s, we have Alter Ballistamon. This card is also treated as Ballistamon for Digicrossing. On play, when Digivolving, one of your Digimon can't be returned to the hand or deck by your opponent's effects and gets plus 3000 DP until the end of your opponent's turn. On deletion, you may place 1 Digimon card with Xheart trait or Blue Flare from your hand or trash under any of your Tamers. You're kind of starting to see the ongoing theme when it comes to these new evolved forms of the Xheart Digimon from what we used to know. Basically, all of them no longer have the save ability per se, but instead, on deletion, you can place a Digimon card with the Xheart or Blue Flare trait from hand or trash under any of your Tamers, which makes the Digicrossing for this deck a lot easier. Alright, another level 5 we're running is at least 1 copy of the new BT19 take on Shoutmon X5. It has on play, when this Digimon would leave the battle area, you may place up to 3 Digimon cards with the Xheart trait from this Digimon's Digivolution cards under one of your Tamers. On deletion, you may play a Xheart trait card with a play cost of 4 or less from any of your Tamers without paying the cost. It digicrosses with Shoutmon, Ballistamon, Darulamon, Starsmon, or Sparamon. Then our next level 5 we are running is Omni Shoutmon. Running this guy at 4. It also says it's counted as Shoutmon for Digicrossing. On play, when Digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000 DP for the turn, then delete an opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less. And the same thing of on deletion, placing something with Xheart or Blue Flare from your hand or trash under a Tamer. Inheritable is this Digimon with Xheart trait gains Rush. Then we have Jiger Darulamon. This card is also treated as Darulamon for Digicrossing. On play, when Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, then one of their Digimon can't activate when Digivolving effects and doesn't unsuspend until the end of their turn. And then the same on deletion effect, it has inheritable, this Digimon with Xheart trait gains piercing. Now I will say, hard playing this guy right here never feels bad, especially when you're up against your opponent's Digimon on board. You suspend it, and you keep them from using your on deletion effects, or when Digivolving effects. And yeah, it's just always a good play. Getting down to the end here, we have a couple of level 6s. One of these guys, though, you're probably never going to really Digivolve into. It's mainly just in here so that way we can have him for fodder, or to reliably get him back into our hand to use for Digicrossing, or to put under one of our Tamers. And that is Xheart. I'm running him at only 2 copies because of that. He has on play, when Digivolving, we can de-Digivolve 2 one of the opponent's Digimon. Then if your opponent has 2 or more Digimon, return one of their level 4 or lower Digimon to hand. On deletion, you may play a blue flare or Xheart trait card with a play cost of 5 or less from under any of your Tamers without paying the cost, then save. Inheritable is all turns this Digimon gets plus 2000 DP. And now, on to the big bad boss of the deck itself. It is going to be Shoutmon EX6. This guy is also a mouthful. He has Alliance, Reboot, and Material Save 4. On play, for each color in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, all of your opponent's Digimon get minus 1000 DP for the turn. Then you may play one Shooting Starmon from under any of your Tamers without paying the cost. When attacking, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with as much or less DP as this Digimon. It Digicrosses with Omni Shoutmon, Xheart, Alter Ballistamon, Jigger and Raptor Sparrowmon, respectively. Now going into our options, I'm running 2 copies of Heroes of the Sky. This option card is mainly in here for its second effect. It does say activate one of the effects below. If you have a Digimon with Shoutmon X5 in its name and play, activate both effects. You can rather one of your Digimon with Xheart trait gain Security Type Plus, or draw 2 cards. So far in my playtesting, I've mainly used this just to draw the 2 cards, but that's fine. And then the linchpin of the deck that really helps it pop off so that way you can sneak those victories in is the option card Meteor Rock Soul. It's a 3-cost option card. You activate one of the effects below. You may play one Xheart trait Digimon with 4000 DP or less from under any of your Tamers without paying the cost. Or, the real reason for it, you can, by unsuspending one of your Shoutmon EX6s and one of your Shooting Starmons, one of your Digimon may attack a player. So now you can see where this is starting to go. You get the Shooting Starmon out along with your EX6 and this option card in hand. More than likely, you are going to be winning that game. It also has a security effect of you may play one Xheart trait Digimon card with 4000 DP from under any of your Tamers without paying the cost. Now on to the Tamers. I am running a grand total of 6 Tamers in this deck. The first is going to be Taiki Kudo from BT10. He's going to help us reveal the top 4 cards of our deck, add 1 card with Xheart trait among them to the hand, and 1 Digimon card with Xheart trait to put under this Tamer. Return the remaining cards to the bottom of the deck in any order. And then your turn, when you play a Digimon with Digicross requirements, by suspending this Tamer, you can also place cards from under your Tamers into the Digivolution sources by Digicross. And then we have the BT19 version of Taiki Kudo. He's going to be the memory fixer for the deck, but also he has that same effect of when any of your Digimon with Xheart trait Digicross, you can suspend it, so that way you can place your Digimon from underneath your Tamers. And then, last but not least, I have the Triple Tamer, Taiki, Kiraha, and Nene. It has start of your main phase. By placing one Digimon card with Xheart or Blue Flare in its traits under this Tamer, you gain a memory and draw a card. As well as when you play one Digimon card with Digicross requirements, by suspend this Tamer, you can place cards from under your Tamers as Digivolution cards for the Digicross. But yes, this deck, it seems bricky, and it might even feel bricky at times, but it can actually come back from a solid place. And it just feels so good when you get that Shoutmon EX plus the option card and Shooting Starmon, and just repeatedly pop stuff on the board while swinging and doing alliance for 2 checks. But anyway, that has been my take on the Xheart deck. And again, I'm no expert on it. If any of you all out there have had better experiences with the Xhearts, especially some of the older versions, be sure to go ahead and drop me a comment or list down below. I'd love to know more about how this deck actually needs to be played more. Because again, I just didn't really watch Xhearts. I know of it, but it just wasn't my thing. At least, not until this particular type of deck came out anyway. But anyway, that's the deck profile. I hope you enjoyed. This has been Prodigious, and I'll see you next time.